May 13th. Please call the roll.
Michael Yurden.
Present.
Herbert Yurden.
Present.
Edward Gilson.
Here.
David Holst.
Here.
Roy Rehill is excused. John Martino. Bradley Trudell.
Here.
Paul House. James Weatherup. Mary Ellen Chesbro. Linda Lockwood. Richard Klein. Patrick Twist is excused. Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Nathan Emmons.
Here.
Thomas Drum. Lori Magano.
Here.
Robert Wilmot.
Here.
Marie Shad.
Here.
Tim Stahl is excused. Terry Wilbur.
Here.
James Karasik.
Here.
Morris Cerbello is excused. Mark Greco.
Here.
Ralph Stacy Jr. Mr. Chairman, you have 21 present, 4 excused. You have a quorum.
Dear Heavenly Creator, as we come together today, we should be thankful for today's blessings, its opportunities, and its challenges. May we appreciate all those who have come into our lives. May we have strength and guidance to handle each day as it comes. Make us strong in our hearts, that which unites us, and build bridges across all that divide us. We ask you to give us the strength we need to give our best always, the knowledge to lead our county into greatness. Amen.
Remain standing for the pledge.
Oh, yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We've seen the minutes for 8:15 days.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Aye.
Earlier today, EMS week, appreciation, over America, National Foster Care Appreciation, National Police. That going on, Legislator Wilbur.
Mr. Chairman, there are, hold on one second. Mr. Chairman, there's nobody to speak on resolutions of the day.
Good, thank you. To reports of county. Report of standing.
I would just like legislators to know that Tuesday last, when we held our health committee, there were quite a few people that were concerned over mask and other issues with COVID. I think anytime that someone comes to the chambers, this legislative body respects people exercising the right of First Amendment. They were very respectful to the committee. They in turn provided a lot of information about their views. And in the mailboxes today for all of the health committee members is a copy of every single piece of paper that they gave to me as chair, so that you can review what they had to say. And that includes also the chairman, Mr. Weatherup. So that's it. Thank you.
Reports of standing committee. Reports of special committee. Moving on to resolutions of the day, government courts, consumers affairs, resolution GC1 by legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urges adoption.
Clerk, please read the heading.
Resolution authorizing an intermunicipal agreement by and between the County of Oswego, the Town of Schuylkill, the Village of Phoenix, and the County of Oswego Industrial Development Agency to support improvements to the wastewater infrastructure within the Village of Phoenix and the Town of Schuylkill.
This is for the Oswego County Industrial Park, as well as homes and businesses in the greater Phoenix area. Future development from the system.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This briefly is an effort by the two municipalities, the county and the IDA, to solve a decades-long problem of insufficient capacity at our primary industrial park. We're at a key point in our nation's history where there's unprecedented amount of federal funding available. This is the right time to address this project. Anytime that you get this type of funding opportunity, though, there is some local match required. And if we left this to just the village and the town, the project never would probably be done. So we've found an agreement that the four parties find acceptable. It's been approved by the county, the town, and the IDA. Village of Phoenix is in its final stage of review. And the first of the applications for funding this project goes in tomorrow, and there's several others that will follow that. So this will, if we're successfully funded, increase the capacity to that area, town of Schuylkill, the village of Phoenix, and that industrial park by nearly twice what's available now. So I'd happy to answer any questions about the agreement or the project if you have any.
Legislator Schott.
Thank you, Dave. What will the capacity be?
Capacity right now is about 600,000 gallons per day, and they're capable of doing that in dry weather, but they have a lot of issues in wet weather conditions. It's an old system. They have a lot of inflow and infiltration in their stormwater system, and as a result, there's occasionally some overflows in really heavy rain conditions. So the project will address some of those I&I issues, and it will also increase the capacity at the plant so that there won't be any overflows in the future. And the new capacity will be about 1 million gallons a day.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution GC2 has been pulled. Resolution GC3 by Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the sale of certain tax foreclosed property in the town of Richland.
As this goes, it's in the estate of James Gay Higley, it's on 415 Valley Road, Glasgow, New York. And it's going to be all the taxes, interest, and penalties owed will be paid.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Resolution GC4 by Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Clerk, please read the heading.
Resolution approving and confirming the sale and transfer of certain foreclosed tax properties to the city of Oswego pursuant RPTL 1166.
Yes, for all these properties that are in the city, will be, all the taxes and penalties will be paid in full.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Moving on to Public Safety Committee, Legislator Wilbur, Resolution PS1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in the sheriff's office, medical social worker, full-time.
This is a reclassification going from a part-time to a full-time position due to additional tasks and responsibilities. I'd like to thank the sheriff and our jail physician, Dr. Newpuff, for the constant research and development of the medical side of the jail. They're really putting us into a decent place for responsibility and tasks that are being handed down from the state. I urge us to pass this resolution. It is going to be paid for within that budget.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Legislator Wilbur, we're not making the jail too nice.
That's right.
Resolution PS2 by legislator Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in the Sheriff's Office, Principal Senior LPN.
Due to no senior registered professional nurse, we're looking to reclassify this to the principal LPN. This position has had to take on supervisory duties, scheduling and payroll, et cetera. We're looking to make sure that the position or the duties and responsibilities match the title of the position.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Resolution PS3 by legislator Wilbur.
I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of one position in E911 Department.
911 director is asking to reclassify this particular position as a result of our records management system being installed along with and being brought online, along with various other tasks that are going to go along with this position. This reclassification will be beneficial to the 911 department and make sure that the work flows properly.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Legislator Schott.
Is this mandated?
No.
Legislator Drum.
Is there any reason that this reclassification being done now as opposed to reclassifying current budgets?
Legislator Wilbur.
Well, there are a number of issues with this. The number one issue is that records management system finally coming online. You can't always do that at budget time. It's a technological service, and it's when it gets implemented and has the ability to come online. That's the main issue that we're looking for this reclassification at this point in time. I really urge us to move forward with this reclassification to make sure that the work and the title of the position coincide together.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 19 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving on to Human Services Committee. Legislator Trudell, Resolution HS1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification to accept additional funds for New York State Office for the Aging for home delivered meals.
Mr. Chairman, this resolution, actually, the meal deliveries are currently stable in Oswego County. However, they do remain approximately 30% above pre-COVID levels. And as stated in this title, this is apparently a resolution accepting state funded money.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS2 by legislator Trudell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution establishing capital project number C0320, Camp Hollis renovations.
Mr. Chairman, this resolution allows for dedication of funding in order to proceed with the application for funds up to, I think, $230,000 for Camp Hollis for repairs.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HS3 by legislator Trudell.
Chairman, I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Department of Social Services to accept Federal CARES Act ERAP funds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As stated in the title, this is for an acceptance of federal funding. This is through ERAP, which is the Emergency Relief Assistance Program, and also the OTDA, which is the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, the amount of approximately $240,000.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to Economic Development and Planning. Legislator Chesbro, Resolution EP1.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to submit this proposal, this resolution, and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution amending Resolution Number 11 of 2020 regarding tax agreements under Real Property Tax Law 4879 for eligible wind and solar projects with Oswego County.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is simply an amendment to a resolution we passed last year because we failed to include in it that we needed to have a consideration for the fees given for the municipalities and the schools.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 19 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution EP2 by Legislator Chesbro.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution fixing time and place for public hearing relative to proposed County of Oswego Local Law Number 1 of the year 2021, entitled, "A Local Law Declaring Oswego County as an Eligible Area Under New York State Environmental Conservation Law 11-0935, and authorizing the participation in a deer hunting pilot program thereunder."
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is to allow 12 and 13-year-olds to go off and hunt big game with firearm. As it is now, they can do with archery, but we are the only state as it is that does not allow 12 and 13-year-olds to use firearm. But they must be with a licensed adult when they do this. This is a pilot program, and this is for the public hearing date.
And I believe we would note that they are currently able to hunt small game.
Yes, they are with firearm.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Resolution EP2 by Legislator Chesbro.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution supporting the New York State Snowmobile Association's comments regarding regulating activities in wildlife management areas.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, at first I would like to mention that there is just a misprint down on the very last sentence. It should have been NYSSA, not NYSDSA. It was simply a misprint that can be done to begin with. And second of all, what this is in response to a resolution that it's for an amendment that DEC is putting for the use of wildlife management areas and the different recreational things that could go on in there. When they did that proposal for this amendment, the New York State Snowmobile Association came out with some comments, and they were very fair and reasonable comments. While they applaud the fact that the DEC wants to control people's behavior while on wildlife management areas, the association also wants to make sure that they realize the importance of not only allowing snowmobiles, but also the use of equestrians, the use of bicycles, people going out for wildlife, and that snowmobiling is a huge part of New York State, and especially in Oswego County. Many of our trails do go through some of the wildlife management areas. We are in support of making sure that when people are there, they do it right, but we want to give the people the right to be able to go through it. So we are saying here that we support what the Snowmobile Association is suggesting.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HE1 by Legislator Karasik.
Mr. Chairman, fellow legislators, I offer the following resolution for your consideration.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification for COVID-19 expenses.
So this is a real simple, we are moving money around so that it ends up in the right account that we can claim it under FEMA and hopefully get a portion or all of it back. And if they make a mistake and give us more, we'll take that too. But it's just moving money.
Hope they're here to help. Right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution HE2 by legislator Karasik.
Mr. Chairman, fellow legislators, I offer the following resolution for your consideration.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution to accept increase in Healthy Families State Grant Funds.
I get to do all the fun ones here. So the state taketh away, the federal government gave the state money, so now they're going to give it back to us. So this is money they took away from the Healthy Families Program, and now they've had a change of heart or a change of budget, and they are going to give us that money back.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving on now to infrastructure, infrastructure IT1 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budget modification, Central Services, New York State Homeland and Emergency Services Grant.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a $50,000 grant to.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT2 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing expenditure for capital reserve number 21, buildings renovations.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're looking to move $35,000 from the Building and Grounds Renovations Reserve to Capital Project C012. Capital Project to place the research funds.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT3 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the acquisition of easements and payment of compensation in connection with PIN 3-Red.11 County Route 89 3 Mile Creek Culvert Replacement.
Written to compensate the parcel due in the amount of $750 on double.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT4 by legislator Walpole.
Yes. I offer the following resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution concerning breach notification policy for the County of Oswego.
This is a new policy that we stated in. It's state mandated, it's a good policy.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 20 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution IT5 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution. This.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded.
Okay.
Well, we should probably vote on that. All those in favor of amending?
Aye.
Opposed?
The amendments to substitute the resolution in the packet with the one that was distributed. The Onondaga County Water Authority has begun construction of a 16-inch water main on lands comprising part of the county recreational trail and state DOT lands and other land. This is an easement that allows that line to remain underground, requires them to move any hydrants that may be placed in the center line of the rec trail for safety purposes, hold the county harmless, and restore the trail to as good or better condition as before.
Thank you. Right. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving to Finance and Personnel, Legislator Martino, Resolution FP1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the reclassification of positions in the county treasurer's office.
Thank you very much. This reclassification is a budget neutral move within the county treasurer's office to update the person's duties as the technical world progresses from what used to be stuffing envelopes to more internet-based type things.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Drum.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Treasurer, or for you, Mr. Chairman, I understand we're budget neutral in this resolution. We're moving, I think it's right around $11,000 from our consulting line, to cover our increase in this reclassification. My question is, typically, consulting lines, everything that I've learned through this body, that they ebb and flow, so we might have some savings this year to be able to do this reclassification. But I guess my question, maybe for you, Phil, do we anticipate consulting monies in this line to stay at the rate that it is right now, or do we anticipate it continuing to ebb and flow?
The consulting line, if I'm remembering the right line you're referring to, there are certain reports the treasurer's office has to have done annually. Some are not annual, so it ebbs and flows anyway. It'll go up and down. So we try to keep, in order to stabilize the tax rate, try to keep that line fairly steady. My treasurer's in the back. You can leverage these.
Question.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, let's put it really, that's going to be this, the consulting line's going to keep it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution FD2 by Legislator Martino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution accepting Federal American Rescue Plan Act funding and authorizing related revenue and expenditure accounts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This does need to have to be amended on the floor with updated current numbers. As we know, this is federal monies that were brought to or sent or receiving from the federal government for COVID-19 relief type items and situations. Total number is $22,749,964 by March 11th, 2022. Soon to receive the first installment of $11,374,982. Correct?
Thank you.
For the updated numbers.
I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you. We have a motion made and seconded. For clarity, the motion is, or the resolution is in your packet as amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Back to the original resolution then,
As amended.
as amended. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I would note that we ain't got the money yet.
Nope. In the man.
Moving now to unfinished business. Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that unfinished business T1 and T8.
Second.
Yeah, we can't get.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Multiple seconds. All those in favor? Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to miscellaneous business. Being none, I look for the appropriate motion.
Chairman, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.
point now, we'd like to have a public comment period. Legislator Wilbur.
Am I allowed to pass these out, or should I leave them on the back? It's just reading material. For everyone? Okay, great.
Just so everybody who's speaking today, at 3 o'clock, legislator here and myself have to leave. It's not out of disrespect to you, but we have same time issue, so we're not being rude, but we just have to go with it. Here. Yeah. Christine. No, the other one.
Thank you. Okay, I won't take up much of your time. On such a nice day as I can get out of here today and go golfing myself. I just wanted to address some accusations regarding a Facebook post. Apparently, some people have chosen to come here today and speak regarding my post. The post seemed to offend them. So if they want to speak, it's still somewhat of a free country, so I guess they can. I normally don't bother addressing such nonsense like this. However, the fact I'm accused of insulting someone with a disability is simply not true. A woman chose to insult me for not wearing my mask to my vehicle after exiting a local store. I in turn insulted her back. Her maskless 20-year-old son, while sipping a slushy drink, had chimed in and insulted me as well. I referred to him as a kid in my post, must be being 49 years old. I often be yeah. I simply want to be very clear on a few things. That one, person was not disabled. Two, unless you're a constituent of my district, your being offended and feelings are not a concern. To me, if you are a constituent, you can give me a call or go to the Board of Elections and run for the job. I took this job for one reason, to keep taxes down for the working people of this county. I have 3 jobs and take care of my elderly mother and no time to waste on nonsense like this. That being said, with a nice day, I'm going golfing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving now to, and I hope I pronounce it correctly, Christine Kiefer. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. You did pronounce it correctly. Good afternoon. My name is Christine Kiefer. Some of you may recognize my name. I've had phone calls and email conversations with most of you sitting in front of me today. I was the one questioning Oswego County's rule of not allowing spectators during the winter sports season. Some of those conversations were one-sided, as I did hear back from some of you. I did manage to get through to a handful of you, including Director Huang. Dr. Huang was actually very rude and hung up on me. I called back, he answered, and he was still very disrespectful. I'm here today for a couple of reasons. One is to find out if this is the standard on how you address your constituents. As our elected and appointed officials, I expect the same respect as I give to each and every one of you. If I present facts and data, I would expect you to listen and hear my argument. If you would not accept empty promises, hung up phone calls, and or unreturned emails or calls, it is completely unacceptable. Number 2 reason I'm here today is to address the overreach of state government and ask what you are doing about it. In March of 2020, Governor Cuomo issued an executive order number 202. This declared a disaster emergency in the state of New York. And I won't read it all to you because we all know it's a book. But the important part right here states, now therefore, I, Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of the state of New York, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the state of New York, hereby find that a disaster is impending in New York State, for which the affected local governments are not able to respond adequately. And I do hereby declare a state disaster emergency for the entire state of New York. This executive order shall be in effect until September 7th, 2020. We know this has been extended multiple times. My question to you today is, what in this executive order justifies a state of emergency? The only state of emergency I'm aware of is the damage done to small businesses and the mental well-being of our youth caused by the executive order. Can you tell me right now that you, our affected local government, cannot respond adequately? The statistics do not support the impending doom that Governor Cuomo saw. I come here today to ask you all to stand up and fight for the state. Reach out to other local counties and have them join in this fight. We need to get back to normal and make our own decisions and get our freedoms back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Victoria Willoughby. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you for your time today. I'd like to start with a prayer for this gathering. I have the utmost respect for all of you and wish you the absolute best. And the prayer I want to offer is, may the loving light and grace of God shine through the heart of each and every one of you and show you the truth of your magnificence. And from that magnificence, I'm going to ask you to honor the oath that you have all taken to uphold our Constitution. Because in this place and time, as our pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is entirely being eradicated for everyone, regardless of their choice, while we're being asked to virtue signal and act like we're a contagion to the rest of the population on a germ theory that they can't prove. The CDC is being treated as if it is a glorious organization. It is a vaccine company. Now, I want to ask all of you, by show of hands, names and not you. That would be fair. Thank you. Raise your hands if you tell me what this is. Flag this. I go you. Mary Ellen? Yeah. Nice to see you, girl. This is our American peacetime flag, our civil flag, that is flown by the Coast Guard when they are in international waters or on a peacetime mission. And I want to ask all of you, why don't you even know we have this flag? Why isn't it standing up there? Why don't we have an opportunity to salute our Pledge of Allegiance to our own peacetime flag? Our own county legislature doesn't even know this flag exists, or you would have raised your hand. I have encountered exactly 2 people in all the time that I've been educating about this that actually know we have a peacetime flag. You know why we're given that flag for Pledge of Allegiance? Because there's a war and it's on us. People are under the impression that the Holocaust ended. It did not. It was globalized. If you don't know about Operation Paperclip, you should check it out, because there were more than 700 of the Nazi war criminals invited here to put in charge of our medical situation. And right now, what is happening to our children, what is happening to our elders, what is happening to our population is a war crime. It has nothing to do with our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. What it has to do with is indoctrinating us. You need to also understand about the language that is used. So you know, any word beginning with A, asexual, asymptomatic, that's a good one. Any word beginning with A, what is after it means the opposite. In America, it begins with A, which means what comes after is opposite. MERI, and its origin is mercy. The CA at the end means sheep. America literally means no mercy for the sheep. And they have us asking to maintain our inalienable rights,
They're God-given rights. Inalienable, two prefixes, in, opposite, a, opposite, opposite, and opposite cancel each other out. You're left with lienable rights. Anybody ever in this room ever consider that? We are fighting for our rights to be liened, and they are leaned on and leaned financially. And you all are pushing around the money. And I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but when Christ, that God that this country was founded on, that you include in the Pledge of Allegiance, when he came into the table of the money changers, he came with a whip. He didn't come asking. He didn't come with an empty bag asking for anything. He came to say, this is wrong. Anybody who stands up for this abomination against our children, where they can't socialize, where their voices are covered, when was the last time oxygen deprivation was a way to good health? When? Ever? Anyone? Bring out your common sense and bring out your intelligence and show us what it is. I said that prayer because I want every one of you to succeed. I'm not standing here against you. I'm standing here for you because I want to fight for your right to stand up to the people that are over your heads, to whom you are disposable. Make yourselves indispensable to us. Represent us. Those of us that are standing up saying, no, I will not mask my children. No, I will not put poison into them. I took my son out of Oswego High School as a scholar athlete in 2019 when his religious rights were overrun. He had now been vaccinated since I learned what was in there when he was 2. I defy any of you to take a package insert and find any 2 ingredients that you want to put in your own body, let alone a baby. You need to do some research and find out the things that you're legislating about and understand we have the right to refuse. And we need to maintain that right because they're coming after us. You're in between. They will run you over. The first thing they do is shoot the generals. So we're with you. Be with us, please, because otherwise we'll have to do the job.
All right,
I respect you. Have a great day.
Thank you. And yes. Thank you. Next, we have Bud Connor. In the interest of fairness, please remember that we're limiting to 5 minutes, so we all have an opportunity to speak. But Mr.
I was
Connor, you
hoping
have
somebody had a timer for that. I am Vicky Willoughby's spouse. In front of me, I have the Nuremberg Code. I could read it, but I'd have to put my glasses on. It's kind of boring, but from what I read here, backing up what Vicky Willoughby has said, I don't see anything in there that says it's okay to stick a needle in a baby's arm. In this Nuremberg Code, it says we need to give consent on medical intervention. In this Nuremberg Code, how can a baby give you consent for Nuremberg Code? It is not possible, people. I'm sorry, it is not possible. And this mask thing, I do not mask. I will not mask. When was it ever a good thing to put a mask on your face? When? Ever? If it was a good idea, my grandmother would have told me that it's a good idea to wear a mask during flu season. And there's another thing. Flu season, where did that go? If anybody is even wondering about what's going on in this country, I'm asking you to look at 2 things from the CDC themselves. Those people, the CDC. There are two things that I want you to look at. One is overall deaths. Everybody dies all over the world. Look at the number of all the people that died all over the world of everything. Look at that number. It goes up a little bit every year. Now, at 2020, you would expect this big spike. You know, bring out your dead. Where are all the dead people? Yeah, it only went up a little bit, not much. The other number I want you to look at is flu deaths. Flu deaths for 2019 and flu deaths for 2020. Now, I don't know the exact numbers because I don't want to memorize bullshit numbers. Now, the number for 2019, excuse me, the number for 2020 is extremely high. We're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Now, anybody guess how many people died of the flu in 2020? How many? Thinking about in 2019, there was tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, lots and lots. 6,000 people. 6,000. Where did the flu go? COVID, certificate of vaccination ID. There is no freaking COVID. It's not even a disease. COVID, they just called it that to scare the crap out of us. And I don't know about you guys. I know what fear is. They want us to be afraid. I'm a skydiver. I'm a base jumper. I've been married. I know what fear is like. And this is not it. Okay, people? Now I think that's my 5 minutes. Thank you. And please think about that and stop this crap. Thank you.
Thank you. At least some of us in the room share at least some of your fears. Next, I don't know if I can read the name, but it's Brittany, starts with a B, from Oswego.
Mr. Chairman, can you put her at the end, please? She had to step out. She's having trouble getting back in through the door.
Tammy Castor.
My name is Tammy Castor. I own a gymnastics studio. I've been very busy this year. It is optional for the kids to wear masks during classes as per Governor Cuomo's guidelines. Numerous parents have thanked me for being open this year because of their children's state of mind. Many said their kids were depressed, staying home and not going to school and being able to play with their friends. They say that their gymnastics class is their only thing that they get to do that seems normal and that they really look forward to coming every week. 3 weeks ago, it was picture week. Since pictures take up most of the class time, we usually give them free time to play in the gym after. One of the classes finished pictures early and had more free time than the other classes did. They had organized a few games to play together and were having so much fun. I said to the parents, as much as this is driving me nuts that they are doing unstructured activity, it also makes me smile to see them all playing together and having so much fun. One of the moms actually started crying and said that she agreed, and it was so refreshing to see her daughter playing and acting like a kid and having so much fun. All the other parents agreed. I have over 200 students enrolled in my gym, and they don't wear masks during class, and we have not had one problem. We have to weigh all of the risks that are involved here. What about social and emotional health of our children? This is not March 2020 anymore, and every one of us knows that young children are not affected by this virus. Dr. Angelina Farella states that children are a buffer. They do not spread the disease. Their thymus helps them with T-cell immunity, and that's a blessing. But as adults, what have we done with that blessing? We've shoved it to the side and we've said, we don't care. You're still going to wear a mask on your face every day. You still can't play together like normal children. We don't care. We're still going to force you to carry a burden that was never yours to carry. My son asked me today, before I came here today, if I was going to tell you he doesn't want to wear a mask anymore because he doesn't like not being able to breathe. It's May 2021, and it's time to take these masks off our children. This decision would be the best interest of our children, forcing them to cover their noses and mouths where they breathe 7 hours a day for the last 8 months when we know COVID doesn't affect them. That is not in their best interest, and this has to stop. We need to help our children. My son can't come up here and say this. Neither can all the children who have committed suicide or are depressed because they have been hiding behind a mask and can't play and act like children should be playing for over a year now. Now I'm going to change the topic to COVID vaccines. I am truly scared to get one. After doing my own research on them, reviewing the CDC fears database, and knowing people who have had adverse reactions to them. It is no secret that the COVID vaccines are not FDA approved. Here is a little bit of history. In 2019, VIRS reported 203 vaccine deaths. In 2018, 119 deaths. And in 2017, 85 deaths. Since December of 2020 through April 23rd, 2021, 4 months, there have been reported 3,362 deaths from COVID vaccines. That's roughly 30 deaths per day. In 2021, there have been more deaths than there were in a 15-year period between 1997 and 2013, plus over 1,000 heart attacks and 8,000 hospitalizations. In 1947, 45 million people were vaccinated for the swine flu. 15 people died and the program was immediately halted. It was considered too risky. The law passed in 1986 shields vaccine manufacturers and the people who administer them from liability if a business requires you to take a vaccine. All the risk, physically and financially, is on us. The business has no responsibility if you have a mild adverse reaction, a lifelong disability, or even die. No one but ourselves has to carry that risk. The pharmaceutical and medical personnel have absolute and total immunity from anything that happens to us. Our family will carry the burden. With all the talk of mandating vaccines leaves me with many sleepless nights with worry. I want to know how these vaccines can be forced on us when there are laws that clearly state that they can't be. The experimental vaccine itself is in violation of Article 32 of the Geneva Convention. And Andrew Cuomo stated himself that You cannot mandate COVID vaccines because these vaccines are approved under something called an emergency use authorization, an EUA. And by law, you can't mandate a vaccine approved under an emergency use authorization. So you can't say, for example, our students must have a vaccine. You can't mandate a vaccine under an EUA. You can mandate measles, which has had full approval, but you can't mandate these vaccines, which are still under emergency use authorization. End quote. I asked them, how can they say that COVID vaccines are mandated for all SUNY college students? And how can the Excelsior Pass even be considered? It is lawful for a business to have, much less attempt to enforce a policy which violates established law. Business policies do not supersede federal and state laws. We are protected under the U.S. Constitution, First Amendment. No law is valid or lawful that violates the Constitution. No health order, emergency order, state of emergency, municipal ordinance, or state policy may suspend or violate the Constitution, period. So when I ask, why can't we choose to wear a mask or have a vaccination? And I'm told it's because we're under an emergency. I have to question that. I am scared to death of taking an experimental vaccine. Don't I have the right to choose?
Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Legislator Wilbur and Legislator Mike Yurden are excused for the conference call with the Congresswoman. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here hopefully to represent more than just myself. Strongly opposed for any attempt to mandate vaccinations for the population. I've been battling chronic illness for the last 4 years. A lot of prayer, a lot of research. As an engineer for 4 years, I know it's best. We look at the data, we look at the science, we try to have an informed opinion. And that's what I've done. Let's look at the CDC use that. The survival rate for 0 to 19-year-olds is 99.9997%. The survival rate for 20 to 49-year-olds is 99.98%. The obvious question we ask from looking at this data is simple. Why do healthy people need to be vaccinated at all? The children are nearly 100% survival rate are the best proof to create herd immunity in our families and the community. There's simply no reason to separate this age group from vaccination. The first rule of medicine is to do no harm. Why should we or would we impose any additional risk, present or future, on a segment of our population that has near 100% survival rate? And actually, it would be a key component in the community maintaining herd immunity. Also consider this fact as well. Our God-given natural immunities are superior to anything that can come out of the bio. Now, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just saying that in the context of what we're looking at today, but I just want to make that point clear. By design, the vaccines carry only the base sequence of the spike. So it's very select. We're retired after 32 years at the most senior research position notes the following about our natural immunity. And I quote, "There is no possibility that current variants of COVID-19 will escape our immunity. Our T-cell immunity is long-lasting and can easily manage COVID variants beyond the mutation limits of 3 to 5%. And that's science. Things can only mutate maybe 3%. The survival rate is high. COVID's been around for a year now. What is this mad rush to vaccinate? It's uncalled for. A second critical point to consider is this, in light of the of total deaths. 5%, COVID only. That means the balance, or 95% of COVID deaths are a result of comorbidities. This is the same type of scenario you have in flu seasons. Viruses can trigger an immune response in the body, but if that body is sick and the immune system's shot and overreacts, now you have problems. It's the same basic thing. So consider this question as well. Will a jab correct a person's underlying health issue? Absolutely not. Will it take away the comorbidities that an individual is dealing with? Absolutely not. And I wonder if this is not why, we already heard someone mention about the back reporting system. There are a number of deaths and a number of injuries, and I suspect that's probably people who have poor health are being immunized. Now think about if that was mandatory. You have no idea what would happen in that sense. Point 3, vaccinations do not prevent infection. These ones do not. Oh, sorry. My wife's always yelling at me, they don't speak up. Thank you. You're out of time. Well, let me just close by saying this. Taken a lot of time, done a lot of research. It's pretty sad that brilliant medical doctors and scientists out there who are not allowed to hear from. Something gets posted, the next day it's gone. SUNY Oswego. Oh my gosh, the crap was hitting the fan this past September, right? Panic. Read the article. It's cool. SUNY Oswego COVID. And look back, you're going to see all sorts of hike up, selling, panic-stricken articles, stories, and the students were panic-stricken. It's going to be great. Since September till now, it's been a whole school year. What are the results? 632 cases. What's that yield? 100% recovery. 0 hospitalizations. Doesn't sound like a crisis. Outbreak 3 near the end of 2020. Sadly, it was a nursing home in Oswego. It took it hard. Won't need the name or the numbers, but it was a significant number of residents who died because of an outbreak. The good news is, simultaneously, another part of Oswego, there was another nursing home. And currently, what did they do? They prophylactically issued immune building vitamin C, B, and zinc. They went unscathed. They had little to no casualties. Okay? We had summer camp, Southwest Oswego, for 7 weeks last summer. Kids, no mask. Staff had to wear masks. 0 cases. My church in town, other than that first month of the peak of COVID, has been 3 services, midweek studies, midweek activities, full alone the last 12 months. 0 cases orally. Man. Can I give a personal story? You took 10 minutes extra of my time. This one hits home. This one hurts. Okay? My daughter, I can't read this. My daughter, last summer, was 3 years experience as a pediatric intensive care unit nurse in Syracuse Hospital. She was only 3 years into it, and the call came up. Volunteers, please, to go to New York City in the peak of the pandemic to help out. This is the front line of the battlefield. Okay? Like nothing we've seen other than on TV. Okay? This is the bloody war. And she wants to go. How does dad feel? Proud of your daughter. We're going to pray for you. What you say, you feel all the things. And so she goes and does her stint. She was one of 50 nurses from that hospital in Syracuse who went to that hospital in New York City. What was the result? They came back unscathed. They were in the blood bank, okay? They all came back unscathed. Not a single one got COVID. Fast forward 3 months. The same daughter, the same, what I would say, frontline hero, returns to Oswego High School where she played soccer to volunteer to be a volunteer soccer coach. She's out there taking shots with the goalie, 30 feet away, both wearing masks, outdoors. The goalie tests positive. The county health department says, my daughter needs to quarantine. What a smack in the face joke. Now, that sounds trivial, but it's a microcosm of the type of mindset, okay? What a joke. A way to treat a frontline worker.
Thank you. Before we get to Jackie Wilbur, I want to stress again a 5
Katie Scott. I didn't know anyone was going to be reading it. Does it say Katie Scott, maybe? Sure. Is there an Elizabeth right after me? We're together? Yeah, we're going to do it together. We each get 5 minutes, though. Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
History will judge us by the difference we make in the lives of children. Nelson Mandela. My name is Elizabeth Harris. I live in Ithaca, New York. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I voted for Joe Biden. I voted for Cuomo. I'm fully vaccinated for COVID-19. Been an educator for 40 years. I teach parents how to have a more joyful relationship with their children. I'm an expert in child brain development. I drove 2 hours to be here to talk to you today. My children are not currently enrolled in public school. They're in college and young. I'm speaking over all children, not just my own children. The current school mask mandates for New York State are allowing fear to damage our children's well-being. And the New York State mask mandate must end immediately. It's time for everyone who has a voice in New York State to speak up about what's best for our children. It's a well-known fact that physical contact and the ability to see people's faces triggers oxytocin production, which strengthens bonds between adults and children. These effects have led oxytocin to be grouped with other hormones known to have positive impact on moods and emotions. Children only learn, grow, thrive, develop empathy by seeing faces and being seen and heard. Fear is a human emotion that is triggered by perceived threat. It is a basic survival mechanism. It signals our bodies to respond to danger with a fight or flight response. And as such, it's essential for keeping us safe. However, when people live in constant fear, whether from physical danger in their environment or threats they perceive, they experience negative impacts in all areas of their life and become incapacitated. Fear prepares us to react to danger. Once we sense a potential fear, our body releases hormones that slow us down or cause us to fight. Our body also increases the flow of hormones in an area of the brain known as the amygdala, which help us focus on presenting danger and store it in our short-term memory. The brain short circuits or rational processing paths when experiencing fear. The brain immediately reacts to signals from the amygdala instead of rational processing. Physical health fear weakens our immune systems. It can lead to accelerated aging and even premature death. Fear impacts our memories, the formation of long-term memories, and the damage to certain parts of the brain. Fear can interrupt processes in our brain that allow us to regulate emotions. They keep us from acting ethically. Fear impacts our ability to evaluate and make decisions. We act in negative ways, leaving us susceptible to intense emotions and impulsive reactions. Our state leaders requiring children to continue to be masked is being done out of fear, not any scientific or medical reason. Why are we willing to continue to harm children by mandating masks? Is it because children don't spend money? Is it because children don't vote? When it comes to children's well-being, it should never be about what side of an issue you're on. It should never be about politics. We should always be on the side of children. Children are our future. We should be modeling and teaching children resiliency, fearlessness, health, well-being, and how to build healthy immune systems. History will judge us by the difference we make in the lives of children. Katie Scott and Elizabeth Harris. Scott. S-C-O-T.
My name is Katie Scott, as you now know. I was born and raised in Hannibal, New York, so right down the road. I have 3 children, and my oldest son attends private school here in Oswego. I am here today because the facts, after reviewing all of the studies worldwide, the CDC has found no reduction It is well accepted that children have statistically zero chance of dying from COVID. The CDC shows that the K through 12 mortality rate from or with COVID is 0.00003. Pretty low. Any intervention, especially one that is preventative, must cause fewer harms than the infection. Since children have the lowest death rate from COVID infection, the cost benefit of requiring children to wear an investigational face covering with emerging safety issues is especially difficult to justify. Until adults, like myself, and you won't hear, whether we have children of their own or not, until we choose to stand up, speak out, we will not see change. We must free our children. Our children deserve better.
Thank you. Again, I know some legislators have prior commitments. So next is identified legislation with Sarah and the application.
of choice to attend school, to not attend school. Freedom of choice to open my business, to not open my business. Freedom of choice to vaccinate, to not vaccinate. Freedom of choice to wear a mask, to not wear a mask. Freedom of choice to speak or not speak. I'm standing here doing what I can, the only thing that I can do to help support things. So for all of you sitting in here today, what can you do? And what are you doing? Please, stand up for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you again. Came back, Tricia Loren.
No, she had to leave. She won't be back.
All right, well, again, that concludes our,
I didn't speak.
Oh,
I didn't get to speak yet.
sign up.
Yes, I did.
Your name?
Nicole Pruitt, I was on page 2.
You can speak, go ahead.
Thank you. Come on, guys.
Right out and jump to somebody.
I probably did write a check out, but it's gonna bounce.
Again, just so we're clear, Nicole Pruitt, right?
Yes, sir. And I can ask everybody to join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity that you have provided us today. The opportunity that you have gave us to be united, to hear each other, to listen. For us, for each and every one of us to speak out, provide our true testimony. I would ask that you give us the light in the darkness today, dear Lord. I would ask that you touch and strengthen the hearts of each and every one here today. I would ask that you give them the eyes to see and the ears to hear the words that we have just spoken, the true testimony, for them to hear our suffering and to hear our cries. And most importantly, dear Lord, I would ask that you touch the heart of each and every person in this room today. Fill their hearts with love and courage, compassion and empathy, so they may hear our cries and do your work. In Jesus' name, amen. My name is Nicole Pruitt. I am the leader and the founder of CNY Informed. Our mission is to inform, connect, educate, and protect freedom. I am the voice of all schools, the parents, the teachers, the children, and every resident in New York State that cannot be here today that opposes all mandates and are suffering in view of the current situation. I am also an intellectual property paralegal. I have been in the law field for at least 10 years. We work with engineers and inventors. I have the ability to read and understand the detailed description of every invention. Every invention from mascara to ceramics to spark plugs to masks to vaccines and to the coronavirus. Every invention has a patent description of which I have emailed each and every one of you along with a long speech that I hope that you'll read. The detailed description of the mask invention clearly states that the blue surgical masks that everyone wears fails to filter out particulates less than 100 nanometers. Does anybody know the size of the coronavirus?
That is small.
70 nanometers. The virus is getting right through. The detailed description of the vaccine invention clearly states that vaccines fail in view of the needle injection, which bypasses the Th1 immune response, which is needed for antibody creation. I also know that vaccines fail because my fully vaccinated son standing here today did not develop antibodies to his vaccinations, his titers test, of which I have provided each and every one of you. Alternatively, my unvaccinated daughter, who's about to fall over this ledge, does not. She has natural immunities and antibodies. Now let me ask you a question. If we're forced, are we free? God made his kingdom, and in his kingdom we are his children. His children are to work in his honor with love and kindness, with moral integrity and ethics under the 10 Commandments. Isaiah 32:8 says, "The noble, open-hearted man plans moral things, and he stands for what is good, noble, open-hearted, and generous." God granted his children with natural-born common law rights that are forever guaranteed, whereby no man can tell another man what to do, how to behave, or how to think. Yet here we are. God today, he's looking down on his kingdom, and he sees all of his children veiled, being forced to inject themselves with poisons, being controlled, being told what to do, being told to close their business, being isolated, and suffering. What would God think if he came to his kingdom today, this very moment, and saw his children veiled, being forced, and being controlled? And that includes each and every one of you. Would he grant you salvation? Would he tell you that you have done a good job? It is not my words, however, that will move you. No facts or papers or testimony will change your hearts and minds, although we have all stood here today hopeful that you will. It is his words, God's words, and with truth and confirmation, in Josiah 1:9, choose Christ over viruses and infectious disease. COVID. Keep your body pure from toxins and do not fear. With faith and with him by our sides, we will stand strong and encourage you to do what is moral, what is just, and what he would want you to do, for no other reason but to keep his kingdom free from evil, corruption, lies, control, and manipulation. If it's forced, we are not free. We are not free. My son wants to ask you something.
5 minutes, kid.
My
name is Dominic, and I go to St. Pete's.
And Dominic, what would you ask? What do you want to ask these people that are telling you that you have to wear a mask? What do you want to ask them today?
Please remove the mask.
Please remove the mask.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's fall. This concludes our list. Read off. In case we haven't heard it. Honor shall make no law. Establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or infringing the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully assemble, petition the government for redress. Thank you for that.
Thank you for your service.